Hi guys, this is Lily and Stephen. We're on the grounds of Domaine de Cromay in our little home here. So we're going to do a little wine tasting and have a little bit of cheese to go with it.
Really good. The wines are from the website burgundywine.com and the cheeses are connected with an offer that's going to be sent out. We're really lucky to have these wines there. Hard to get hold of. The Domaine Albert Boillot is extremely small production. I mean, even by our standards, extremely small. And so even for us it's quite an exciting tasting because we don't get to open these wines every night.
We don't.
So I thought first I'd just speak very briefly about the two villages, Volnay and Pommard. They're both exclusively red wine. So we all know exclusively red wine in Burgundy means Pinot Noir grape. The fruit profile of Volnay is a little bit brighter and the fruit profile of Pommard a little bit deeper, and I suppose that touches on the general feel that you get between the two villages. There's only less than 2 kilometers between these two when we were there today. Took a cool photograph of one of the panoramic ones which showed
they're just side by side
how close they are.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. So just over a mile really, and but like everything in Burgundy, it's all about terroir. And there's a distinct difference in the terroir between these two. So here we have the same winemaker, different terroir. So if we talk about Volnay generally, you know, we're looking at more floral notes, more delicate notes, like I said, some maybe brighter fruit, more prominent. Delicately powerful is the way someone phrased it. And another person I heard, well, it's kind of a classic for Burgundy reds generally, but I think it really does apply to Volnay, is an iron fist in a velvet glove. You know?
I like that term.
Yeah.
It sums it up, doesn't it?
Yeah, because it has that beauty, but underneath it, there is some powerful structure.
Yeah. And would you say it's a more feminine wine? More feminine than Pommard, or is it?
I used to.
Okay.
But more and more as time goes on, yeah. Some people correct you when you say that.
Okay.
So we try to use other descriptors, but there is truth to say that Volnay is considered, Volnay is considered more feminine, Pommard is considered more masculine, so it's true. And moving on to Pommard, you know, I think on the nose even, you can tell the difference. Pommard, you're getting more like earth and smoke. Especially when it's opened up properly in your mouth. You know, it's a Pommard. It's deeper finish. The fruit profile is a little bit darker, a little bit deeper. I just thought of this as we were opening the wines today. You know, if a Volnay is a iron fist with a velvet glove, maybe Pommard is a velvet glove with an iron fist, and that might be a good way to describe them. But you know.
You can kind of taste similarity though.
Yeah.
Is that from the winemaker, or is that because they're so close together? There's kind of like a kind of a flow of flavour that even though they're different, you can kind of get that they're from similar terroir.
That's the beauty of the wine tastings we do, the wine side-by-side tastings. We never are going to get you to taste two completely ridiculous wines. Even within Burgundy, like a Chablis and a Macon. Yeah. You know, there's just no point if you've got a different producer and it's like, you know, two people that come from the same town. Whereas these are sister and brother. Yeah. You know, and they're connected in way more ways than they're distinct. But it's still enjoyable to realise the distinction between them. Yeah. And that's where the fun is. So nearly in all the tastings that we talk about, and we've done a Saint-Brie one recently, same thing, same producer, that was same year, same grape, but distinct ways. That was achieved more in the winery. Yeah. This is achieved more with terroir, because Domaine, Boillot, they're using the same methods, same fermentation, same oak, so everything is the same in the winery. So this is terroir you're tasting, and that's what Burgundy is. That's what's brilliant about here.
Okay, interesting.
You know, you have a slight vintage difference, 16 and 17, which actually helps because Pommard, you've got an extra year with the more austere wine. to help it soften a little bit, and the food cheeses that are chosen will also help it soften. So I just want to touch briefly on Domaine Boillot. I mean, one of the most hospitable winemakers that we've had. I mean, the first time I went up to his absolutely picture perfect house in Volnay, in the heart of Volnay, and I just stopped outside it and I just looked at it for a few minutes, and it was just, it's perfect.
I remember you coming home and telling me about it.
Yeah, it's just perfect of what you would expect a small production, Burgundian authentic winemaker. Yeah. And sometimes when you arrive and you're collecting wine for Dennis and Domaine de Cromay, people are busy, but he was just like so generous. He brought me into the cellar, and I'm always trying to ask tips about the winemaking process, and he brought me through. He was an open book about what he was doing, and really, really, really admired and took to him that day. But of course the wines have to deliver, so these do on their the classic Eldon. It's got amazing bright acidity and fruit profile. Nothing is kind of out of place with the wines. So just very briefly then, after we just touch on the terroir, this is a village wine. This is a Premier Cru village wine. So if we talk about our tier scale, we have regional, we have village, then we have Premier Cru and Grand Cru. So we don't get too caught up on that, because again, you taste the wines for what they are, and you drink the wine, not the appellation. But within Volnay, this particular vineyard, Le Petit Poissot, excuse my pronunciation, is just out on the southwest side of the village, with slightly deeper soil even within Volnay, and a huge fault line on that southwest coast, on that southwest side of the slope, and with the Premier Cru vineyard on Large Lière. I'm sure Mr. Sherman will have to correct my French. It's just up behind Les Grands Epinaux, so it has quite cool neighbours just behind it, up the hill.
Yeah.
So you go past Pomar on your way to Beaune. I mean,
that's where close to where we were.
20
we
meters.
drove up the hill today.
Yeah. So you're just up the hill, a little bit more high elevation there. But it's just interesting when you see these bottles with the names of the vineyard on. That means that the vigneron has only chosen grapes from that vineyard, and you get that at every level. Obviously, Grand Cru means they have to come from a specific vineyard, but even at regional level, like we have Clos de Carbonade, which is one of our favourite wines, and it's, that comes, even if it's a regional wine, it still comes from a specific vineyard. It means the vigneron has got enough, belief
confidence
in that plot of land,
yeah,
which is interesting. They don't do any blending. So
excellent.
The cheeses.
Yeah, so we picked up some cheese from Alain Hesse today. There were 3 cheeses picked for you to try and find in America. So will we start with, I suppose, the Comté, my favourite.
Okay.
We'll have a little taste.
On my sneaky pre-taste, I did think, the salt content, this is a good aged Comté, and the salt content, if you can get a Comté with good age, it's a little bit better.
For me, Comté, 18 months minimum is where it's kind of, you can get it at 18 or 24 months, and I think, 18 months and above is where you need to be with Comté.
And really the salt crystals are coming out in that, which actually, when you taste it beside the Pomar, I thought, just because again, salt is similar to food. Salt is beneficial for nearly every element of wine. It softens tannins, it brings out fruit, it just rounds, And because what you worry about with a lot of wines is that they don't have the acidity to kind of take up the richness of the food. But with Eldon selections, you don't worry. I mean, it's just a standard.
Really stands up.
Because Ellie and Dennis's palate won't allow a flabby wine in the range. So, it's just so nice to be able to think, the wines are so food friendly. And sometimes that helps people on the journey between other wines coming to Burgundy.
Yeah.
You know, to help with it. The food helps them, and then eventually you have less food and more wine. So, the other cheeses?
Okay, so this one here, I think this one's the softer sheet cheese. It's from the Reblochon family. It's the Préfère du Montagne. I had to look at my note.
Yeah.
And I think in the mountains sometimes, or we usually use Reblochon when we're in the mountains, but this is also a mountain cheese. We use it in a famous dish, tartiflette. So
kind of like potato gratin.
Yeah, so I don't really eat it like this too often. Lovely, soft, creamy texture with an orange rind. Again, good bit of salt in that one, so it'll be interesting to taste. The Volnay, are you tasting the Volnay next to it?
No, I like the Volnay with it. But I mean,
again,
one thing to remember is there is no right or wrong with these things either. Like, your own palate, trust it.
Yeah.
That's what we always say to people, because some people come to Domaine de Cromé, they've got great Burgundy knowledge, you know, great wine knowledge, great food knowledge, and other people come and they're like, oh, you know, I don't know as much, and like the point is their palate, your palate and your knowledge are completely, trust your palate. You can have an amazing, we've got a friend who's got an amazing palate, you know, not interested in learning, you know, the soil type of Chevry Chambertin.
It's maddening. She can always
but she gets wines like this. So
she?
Trust your palate and enjoy your food with your wine. Allow your palate to develop and just enjoy the journey.
So there's one more cheese. It's a Cantelette. Actually, this is a Cantel because they didn't have a Cantelette in Hesse today, which is just basically a smaller version of this cheese. And it's similar, I suppose, I think, to British cheddar. Okay. The most similar to cheddar out of the three. It's a hard cheese, kind of a similar texture to the Comté. Really kind of nutty, buttery flavours. Not quite as strong as the other two, but still got that.
My feeling would be I think the Comté with the Pommard goes really well. The second one is actually goes with both quite well, and this one for me does go with the Volnay.
Okay.
Because I tried it earlier.
Maybe it's that kind of that the really nutty kind of and bitter taste of the cheese. Nearly, I think.
I think the third one is slightly creamier, and the brighter fruit acidity in the Volnay.
Yeah.
Is just balancing a little bit more with it. I like it, but like I say, they're all good.
Yeah. Okay.
So, one thing we'd like to remind you is the wines are on burgundywine.com. I think in the offer there's a link to the cheeses where you can get them. And
there is,
we're obviously going to stop drinking wine and eating cheese now at this stage. Our work is over for the night. So we'd like to say...
Salut! Cheers! Enjoy!